This is the most original question I'm gonna ask you right now. You ready for it?
What inspires me? I'm gonna sock you in your fucking throat. I swear to God.
Who or what inspires you?
Just kidding, you guys. I mean, this is honestly the most asked question for any creative. I think every interviewer that I've ever had has always asked me this question. So I get Tyler's sentiment on this one, but I'm gonna answer it one time only. If anybody wants to ask this, just run this video back and that will be it. My creative process is a little bit different than I think a lot of other jewelry designers, because I really don't look at what's happening in the jewelry industry. I don't look at Fashion Week or what apparel designers are really doing in the moment. I will look much more at street style and street fashion if I want to see kind of what's trending. But I get most of my inspiration just by things that I happen to stumble upon in my day-to-day life. So I visit a lot of museums. I'm always walking around looking at things, and usually something will just catch my eye and I'll get super obsessed with it. I'll start researching it. I'll start like Googling everything about it, buying whatever books I can get on the subject, and I just immerse myself in that topic, and then I'll create a collection based on that. So for example, my women's work collection all came out of a quilting exhibit that I saw in LA. I was walking through and looking at all these quilts, and I was like, I saw the Oberlin Square and read a little bit about its history. And I was like, this is so awesome. I think I can create an entire collection based on this. And I'll also try to create collections that have inspirations that are kind of in the moment. So they have a current running through them in terms of what's happening with the culture and what I feel like is happening with my customers. So I try to create pieces that are really going to give the wearer something when they wear it, and I try to figure out what that person needs to feel. So another great example of that is the Destiny collection, which is inspired by the tarot cards, the Sun card and the Star card. They're the most optimistic cards to get in a tarot reading. So I created that collection right after the pandemic, and I just felt this collective need to realize that there was something on the other side, and that we had the power to create positivity in our lives after facing something so stressful. And so I wanted to create that collection to make women feel like, okay, it's time to now step into our creativity. It's time to now step into our more passionate, more community-driven, more open-minded, and just positive light. And so those two things kind of together, like something I see that I'm obsessed with, and then what I think I can give to my customers so that when they're wearing the pieces, they feel a certain type of way. So once I have the initial idea, I'll start researching anything I can about that subject. So for the tarot collection, I bought a bunch of different tarot cards decks, and I just looked at the iconography and saw the traditional style that those were depicted, and then tried to create my own interpretation of that. Like for example, the big sun, I created a big sun, but I changed it a little bit with this starburst on the inside, and I created these little dots on it to make it feel a little bit more like a warrior shield type of emblem. And so I will really kind of take what exists in the world in that topic and just kind of Ninify it and make it into something that is just me. You will notice a lot of these like starburst shapes and a lot of kind of repetitive designs and a lot of symmetry in different collections based on the materials that I use. And I actually don't sketch things beforehand. I just kind of sit at my soldering table, get in with my materials, and just start building and kind of see what grows out of that. And so a lot of the things that I make end up in the trash scrap bin because they just don't work, and because I'm working with my actual materials. But I'm just much more tactile like that. Like a lot of times too, when I'm creating something, I get down there, I'm soldering it, I'm building it, and then it can kind of like go a little wrong, like not the way that I planned. And the way that it went wrong is actually better than what I had originally planned. So that's the way that I really like to create and just kind of see what comes out in the moment, because I really am about the materials, touching and feeling the metal, feeling the warmth of the flame, and just kind of seeing what appears.